Wait, so what do you want to talk about?
So this week and over, I guess, the past couple weeks, Dylan and I have been discussing ideas and like what we want to talk about and all that. But Dylan came up with the idea, which I really liked, that we should do an episode on listening and if you're listening properly.
Glistening?
Listening. I said listening.
I thought you said glistening. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Glistening.
Yeah. Sorry.
No.
I was like, we haven't been working that hard, okay? Relax.
Dude, that's perfect. So, out 1 year. Wait, in 1 year, out the
there
other.
We go.
We're gonna figure out how to listen properly.
Because, yeah, neither one of us are good listeners. No, I'm kidding. So, backstory on this, actually, before. This actually was not so this was my idea, but it was not my idea. So, during one of my I had mentioned to my therapist, well, actually, he asked me what was going on with the podcast, and I said that we hadn't done it in a while. And then he made a suggestion we should do an episode on listening. And I was like, that's actually brilliant, because we've skimmed over listening, and in different scenarios and different areas where listening is a good idea, but we've never actually talked about breaking down listening in the proper way of doing it, right? Or the best way to do it. And I was like, that's amazing. I love that. So we can do that.
There's more to it than just letting your ears do the work.
Yeah, like, are you listening to respond, or are you listening to actually understand what's happening? Again, it was my idea, but it wasn't my idea. Hey, I have my therapist to thank for that. So.
Thanks, Frank.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
It's your obligatory thank you from me at least once an episode.
Right, exactly. And I was like, if you'd listen, you'd hear your name a lot more.
Right.
I was like, have you been listening? He goes, I don't listen. I just know the last time we talked, you hadn't said anything. I was like, well, I appreciate your honesty, Frank. But if you actually listened, you would actually know that I talk about you quite a bit. And he was like, cool. And he's like, all good things though. I was like, oh yeah, all great things. I'm just gonna put that on a t-shirt. Thanks, Frank.
Oh my god, don't be surprised if that
you know
shows
what?
up in our TikTok shop.
That's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna make a TikTok shop. I'm gonna get a shirt made. It's gonna say thanks, Frank. I'm gonna give it to him for Christmas. That's what I'm gonna do.
I can make that for you, actually.
Love it.
Okay, so let's just jump on in. We're gonna talk about what does listening properly mean. So we'll start out with a couple definitions and kind of go from there. The definition of hearing is the physical act of perceiving sound. Your ears pick it up, but that doesn't mean your brain processes it. So you could be sitting there hearing the TV, but not necessarily processing what's going on.
Background noise.
Right.
Yeah.
Active listening is focusing completely on understanding what someone says, using eye contact, nodding, asking questions, and remembering key details. You are comprehending what is being said to you. And then empathetic listening is listening with the intent to understand how someone feels, not to fix or judge it.
And I think that last one, a lot of people do that by accident, and then also there's another, and that goes into it too, is like you can be actively listening, but you don't need to be empathetically listening, because not everybody wants a solution. Some people just want to talk, and they just want to get stuff out. So that's another thing too, is like, are you actually listening to what they actually want as well? Because not everybody wants a solution to what they're talking about. They just want to get it out in the open, And I think, like, I can speak for myself, is that's something that I struggle with, because like immediately if I'm listening, it's the empathetic portion of it. Like, how do I fix this? How do I help this? What can I do? Right? Where as opposed to like, I'm listening to what you're saying, how do I respond, or like, do you feel, is that okay? Whatever, just something along the lines of, instead of empathetically listening. For me, it's always been that way. But again, it's not always like that.
I'm a very empathetic person to begin with, so I feel like I do that a lot. And I actually have a story for you, but I don't know if now's the time for it. Maybe further down, but I have a hard time, I think, with active listening, because eye contact is scary for me. I don't know why, or where it stems from, or what it is. I will often have a conversation, hold eye contact for like a second, and then I'll kind of like, oh my god, and then
yeah, because you feel weird, right?
Yeah.
No, I 100%, and I'll tell you a story too. So yeah, continue. But I understand that completely, and I'll tell you that holding the eye contact for me it's easy, but it's also uncomfortable for me too.
Yeah.
And I could tell you why, but continue.
It's like I'm like listening, but then I'm like, am I staring at them too long? Is my mouth open? Like, what is like you just start internalizing what your face
like
is.
what is your face telling them right now? Right.
And then you go back and you're like, but what did they say? So I kind of feel like that one's hard for me.
So here the thing is, holding eye contact for me is not difficult. Like maintaining it's not difficult. It's the what you just said of train of thought.
You listening?
I was listening. 100% listening. It was the am I holding eye contact too long? Is my stare too intense? What is my face saying? And all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because people like us, our face tells the story.
Yes.
Regardless of what's happening around us, the face will tell the story, right?
Yes.
So here's the funny thing about that. So when I was actually in middle school, I had a hard time listening and understanding what people were saying. And a lot of that, I think that stemmed from my ADHD. So I literally I literally took a listening class in school. I was forced to take it, and I was forced to maintain eye contact with the people that I was talking, with the teacher that I was talking with, and that as they were talking to me, I had to hold this eye contact the entire time. And I could not look away. And I had to, after they were done, I had to repeat back what they were saying. And I did this every day on a daily basis. And when I tell you that the older I got, I was doing that. But then as I get older, I'm like, I don't like this at all. I don't like maintaining this amount of eye contact because I remember one of my friends, she talks about, like, in her dating life, like, she was talking about a guy who was, like, held eye contact for a tremendous amount of time while they were talking. And she was like, that was the most uncomfortable I'd felt. And I was like, why? I was like, he was like listening. She goes, he was blinking, but he would not take his eyes off of me. And that's really, she goes like, I felt like that was really weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could see that. So of course, in my head, I'm just getting there going like, I think I do that too. Well, damn. Let me just add that to the list of reasons why I'm single. Damn it. He stared at me too long. Well, okay.
Yeah. I totally get that.
And you know what's funny is like, they're like, you want us to pay attention. Yeah, but not like that. Like, don't like maintain eye contact for that long. It's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Like, do you want me to look away like this? Like, what? Like, look at my phone? No, don't look at your phone. Well, what do you want me to do? So I was like, okay, so there's more to this than just, maintaining eye contact. Okay.
Yes.
So
it's the nodding, the asking questions, remembering key details, that kind of stuff that also helps with that. But if you're just
straight, just
straight staring at someone, yikes. Most people don't listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. That's from Stephen R. Covey. And the truth, the weight behind those words is, as humans, we tend to want to interject and not force our ideas or answers onto people, but it's like, before you reply, are you truly sure that you understood and listened to everything the person is telling you before you just jump to an answer?
Right. Yeah. Are you listening only so that you can respond to what they're saying and just kind of move forward and then get your input, or are you listening to like understanding what's actually happening?
Yes, listen to understand, not to respond. Do you want to share the second quote?
Yes. Being heard is so close to being loved that most people can't tell the difference. That's a huge thing. And David Augsburger, I believe is his last name. Okay. Yeah. That is actually, I've actually never heard that. And that's actually pretty powerful because you hear a lot of people saying, like, when somebody says, I hear you and I understand, I hear what you're saying, that is actually pretty powerful. Instead of
liberating.
Instead of like, okay, cool, or anything along that lines, like, all right, you know what, I hear you, I hear what you're saying.
Or just totally ignored.
Exactly, or just continue forward, right? So yeah, no, that's completely understandable. Because anytime these situations come up, it's always something pretty. It's a pretty big like discussion that's being had when you're saying like, I hear you. I think that's pretty bold. I think that's what's happening is like it's a pretty big moment that's happening, and it's like, you know what, I hear what you're saying, or I hear how you're feeling. I can hear it in your voice, right? So that's that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, and I also think that, like, especially as a woman,
I was not going to say anything. I was going to let you open that door because I was not going to dig that grave myself.
I think sometimes women feel a little bit more, what is the right word? I guess like nope, hang on, it'll come to me. Undervalued when their opinions are in the ring, right? So for you to have a conversation and be heard, especially by someone that you love, that is just an unmatched feeling, to be able to sit down and have a full conversation and then that person be able to be like, you know what, yeah, like I hear you, I understand. That is an extra layer of the onion that you that you get to peel back.
Yeah.
I'm sure it goes the same way as being a man, like having to have the facade of being almighty, powerful, you don't need anyone, you're independent, you can do it yourself, and then to have full conversations and be heard by either someone you love or a friend or something like that. I'm sure it goes the same way, but...
Well, it also goes the same way, too, of, like, using, like, when it comes to, I guess, sharing feelings, since a lot of us, so I feel like most guys, and this is myself, don't really use the proper words, or don't know how to use the right words to explain what their feelings are. That's when the listening comes into play, because it's like, I need you to listen to what I'm saying because I have no clue what I'm saying.
Right.
You know, does that make sense? Like, I could say, like if I'm trying to communicate my feelings, I'm not using the proper words, or I'm not saying it correctly, or whatever, right? Grammar is escaping me because I don't do this. You need to be listening to what I'm saying because I need you to understand, because it could be completely different, and I could be like, yes, you're right. That is exactly what that's exactly what I said. Thank you.
Yes.
So that's another thing too, is like, you just like, because I feel like most guys don't do that, and then when we do that, it just completely just derails. And it just goes off the tracks because we're like trying to figure out how to explain it. So it's like, please listen, because I have no clue what I'm about to say. And I think this is what needs to be. I think this is what I want to say. Hopefully I communicate this properly.
Colin will often tell me, he'll say, if you took this, you usually take things two ways, a good or a bad way. And he's like, if you took this a bad way, I didn't mean it that way, I want you to take it in a good way. Okay. Okay.
Does he preface it before he says what he says? Oh, I was about to say. I was like, listen, this is not a negative connotation, but, oh no, not even a but, just, this is not negative. This is what's happening.
Here
right.
It is, yeah.
Please don't take this the wrong way.
Okay, our think moment. So, have you ever caught yourself rehearsing your response while the other person is still talking?
All the time. I'm so bad. Like, so in my line of work, I'm so bad about it.
Okay.
Because in my line of work, everything that I do is by the book, right? There is no ifs, ands, or buts about what I can do. It is, I am bound by this, and I have to go by this. Anytime somebody is just rambling or ranting or going off on what's happening and they're expressing like their anger and frustration, like I'm listening to their anger and frustration. But at the same time, I'm like, there's nothing I can do. I am bound by this, and it's neither here nor there, right? So I catch myself doing that a lot when I'm working. Not so much when I'm with friends or with family, but it happens a lot at work. Now, I try not to, because it's not, but it happens a lot when I'm working, or even when even in a technical discussion. Okay. Right. I'm already rehearsing what I'm gonna say, or I'm already like nitpicking your argument or whatever. And I hate, it bothers me so much when I do that, because I'm like, this is not an argument, idiot. This is just a conversation. Don't do that.
I think for me, I do it because I'm trying to remember what I want to say. And I don't, like, I know I'll forget in between. Because I tend to let people talk, obviously. Like, you try to get me to talk more.
Oh, yeah, I talk a lot. Oh, yeah. That's why, that's halfway through, I'm just like, you need to talk, because I feel like I'm talking way too much, and I don't like this.
But I tend to, like, take it all in and then sponge it, and then I'll be sitting there like, okay, say this, say this, say this, say this. So I don't remember, like, I don't forget. But they say that is not active listening or empathetic listening.
Right.
It's just
listening to respond.
Yeah.
Yeah, waiting for your moment to get what you need to say in, right?
Right. So you're not really connecting with
whoever
you're speaking
to. Yeah.
A
random stranger, someone that you're in a relationship with, a friend, coworker, anything like that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we challenge you this week to, if you catch yourself doing that, try to pull back and stop yourself from your listening to respond, and try to emerge completely into the conversation and actively listen.
Yeah, and I think that would go along the lines too of like trying to, like, this is gonna sound corny, but like try to stay in the moment. Like I think that's, for me, that's, feel like that's what it boils down to, is staying present in that moment in time, right?
Yes.
So I feel like when it comes to listening, so many people are used to being on their phones and talking through their phones, and that immediate reaction, as opposed to when you're sitting and having a conversation with somebody, you're not actively listening because you're so used to getting, like, being able to rewind or record or something like that. And that reminds me of a quote. When I was younger, I used to, because I've told this story before, when I used to work with the football games and stuff like that, and I used to record the games. And I said that I did this one time. I told my coach that I messed up on one of the recordings that I was doing, and I was like, it's okay, somebody else got it. And he's like, no, it's not okay. And I was like, why not? He goes, because that's a moment in time that we're not going to get back. And so that's what I'm saying, is like, when you're on your phone and you're talking or you're watching a video, you can play that stuff back and understand. But when you're actually talking with somebody, that is a moment in time that you're not going to get back. Yeah. So we're so used to having that in front of us to talk that you can't replay that. Yeah, I would challenge you to do that, is try to turn your brain off and live in that, and try to stay in that moment, because you're not going to get that time back.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, yeah.
Thank you for that analogy.
I thought of it on the fly, because when you started talking about, like, when I said stay in the moment type situation, I was like, oh, well, we can't record this, right? You and I can record this, and we can play this back and go back and say, I should have said this differently. Mm-hmm. But when you're in a conversation with somebody, or you're sitting across the table from a loved one, and you're on a date or whatever, you are not going to get that moment back. You're not going to get that time back. You might get it down the road, but that time you're not going to get back. So yes, make sure that you're actually listening to what they're saying and understand what they're wanting.
I love that. I'm sorry. So we're going to talk about when listening goes wrong. This is where we've all been guilty, thinking we're great listeners until someone repeats something we definitely don't remember agreeing to. Yikes. Yeah. It's like you'll have a full conversation and then turn around and then leave and be like, what just happened? Like, where was I? You were definitely not in the moment.
I do not remember you saying that at all.
Yeah.
You didn't say that. I totally did.
No, oh my gosh, for half a second I was like, oh, let me repeat myself. I thought you were talking to me.
Oh, you thought I was actually being like, I have no clue what you just said?
Yeah.
No.
That's funny.
I'm a better listener, okay?
Yeah, you are.
It'll take me a minute to process what you just said, and I'll be like, but no.
Okay, so there are a couple examples we have here. I misheard lyrics. I think that's like a really huge one. I'm so sorry. I don't know that reference though.
So that's the song Tiny Dancer.
Gotcha.
So it's Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer. The misheard lyric is Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza. Now, I will tell you this with absolute certainty. I have no clue how any of you, and I apologize if you feel like I'm calling you out, I don't know how any of you can listen to that song and hear Tony Danza.
Okay.
Because I clearly hear Tiny Dancer every time. Maybe because I'm a fan of the song. But I not once, even when I listened to the song when I was playing pool Wednesday. It's funny to bring this up because the 2 Wednesdays ago, this song was playing. Okay. And I said the exact same thing. I will never understand how people get. I said that. I was sitting on the rail keeping score, and one of my teammates was playing, and he would come back and we would talk, and I looked up and I was like, I don't understand how people would get Tony Danza out of that whole thing. And he's like, yeah, I don't know either, because he's like, I just could not understand how people would get that. So I apologize, but to any of you who were like, I hear that totally. That's cool. I cannot hear it. So yeah, well, maybe it's because, like I said, I'm a fan of the song. I'm a fan of Elton John. Yes, Elton John. I'm not going to repeat what I was going to say. I'm not going to say what I was going to say, because I will get butchered after I said that. But yeah, the misheard lyrics thing. There are, I'm trying to figure out another lyric that I might have misheard.
For a for the longest time, there's a Taylor Swift song out there that's like commonly misheard. It's the one that's like something something my ex-lovers, but it sounds like she's saying Starbucks lovers.
You would hear that. You would hear
Not
that.
No, but it's a I think it's Style, if I'm not wrong. I think it's
It might be. Another one, I don't know if anybody the song Pour Some Sugar on Me,
Yeah.
the beginning of that song, it sounds like he says red iPhone.
Okay.
And I honestly don't know what the actual lyric is, and I hear red iPhone. I don't know what the actual lyric is, and I've actually never put any thought into wanting to know what it is, but that's just me. But I was going to have to look, I'm going to have to look it up now, but I hear red iPhone, and I think everybody else does because it is distinct, it sounds distinctly like red iPhone. I'm like, and I know it's not, because this song was way before iPhone. I know that for a fact. But it's like, what is he saying? And I've never actually went back and read the lyrics of that song because I didn't really care that much. I don't listen to it that much. I don't hear it that much. But I hear that. So, yeah. I might get in trouble for that one.
It took me a while. You know, the Sugar We're Going Down Swinging by Fall Out Boy?
Yeah.
I did not realize he was saying God complex. Like, I don't know what I heard, but that's not what I heard.
So he was saying God complex, but you heard something different?
Yeah.
I would love to know what you thought you were hearing.
I don't know.
Because
No
that's a very interesting thing to mishear.
I know. Yeah, I don't know what I thought it was. I think it was one of those where you just like you don't know what
You
they're
have no
saying,
clue what's
but
happening,
so you're
right?
just saying-
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, don't come at me for that.
Do you listen to music properly? Nope.
No.
I do not.
I don't. If that tells you anything about me.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. The next one is very important.
Oh, good lord.
It says, taking I'm fine, literally. Have you ever seen The Italian Job?
Freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
Yes.
Exactly. Love that. Okay, first of all, I love that movie.
Yeah.
That is one of my favorite movies
Mine
of all time
too.
because, first of all, the cast of characters in that movie, top notch, can't be touched.
Yes.
Love it. The premise behind the movie, fantastic. Edward Norton does himself best. He plays a great asshole in that movie. Come to find out, he's really good at being an asshole because there was another movie he played. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Rounders. Okay, you'll need to see that movie. It's basically about, it's a gambling movie, and basically it's just backstage poker games. Before poker became, it tells a story about before poker became well, it doesn't really tell the story, but it talks about, it was made previously to before poker became mainstream and became televised. This was like right a little bit before it became televised. So it talks about like all these dirty games in the back and talking about like people owing people money, stuff like that. It's a really good movie, and Edward Norton plays a really good bad guy a-hole in that movie. And then of course Matt Damon is in the movie too. And he's going to school. The funny thing is he's going to school to be a lawyer, but he's really good at playing poker. So you can only imagine the conflict. So that's another one of my favorite movies. And again, Edward Norton plays a really good bad guy in that movie. But no, yes, that is one of my favorite quotes. So anytime somebody says, I'm fine, I was like, and I ask them all the time, do you know what FINE stands for? And they're like, no, I'm like freaked out, insecure, neurotic, and emotional.
I love it.
One of my friends, I say that to her all the time. She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm like, do you know what fine means? She goes, you're going to tell me, and I forgot. And I will tell her. And she was like, I've never heard that described so well. Because
Right?
that's exactly, and then people are like, never heard that. That's exactly what fine means.
Go watch
that movie.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is you'll hear that reference right at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
Right off the bat, you hear it. So, sorry. I did not mean to steal your thunder, but
No,
I
you're good.
absolutely love that quote.
Honestly, I'm so glad you knew what I was talking about. Colin will actually like call me out on it too. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm fine. He'll be like, yeah.
Do you know what fine stands for? That's what that's the response when somebody says they're fine. You tell them ask them if they know what fine stands for, and then tell them.
Yep.
Because I guarantee you, after you tell them that, they'll be like, huh, well that's exactly how I feel.
Wow.
Maybe not like to the full extent, but there is a little bit of truth when you in that saying to when you say I'm fine. Maybe not freaked out and insecure, but there is a little bit of neurotic and emotional. Or maybe a combination of one of those, right?
Sure.
So anytime somebody says I'm fine, I immediately go to that quote and I'm like, there's something there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
or it literally could mean I'm fine. No, it doesn't. Because you could say I'm good, I'm all right, I'm okay. But immediately when you say I'm fine, my head goes straight to that moment.
Yeah, fine is like the I was gonna say redheaded stepchild, but that is just not something I should say in today's culture of feelings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I apologize. I don't mean it any type of way.
Yeah, and I'm fine is overly used.
It is.
Because everybody just likes to, it's just such an easy thing to throw out there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Are you?
Yeah, are you?
Can you just tell me what you mean?
Exactly. In a relationship, I'm fine. No, you're not. Most people in a relationship will understand that.
This next one is really big to me. Like, really big to me. Texting confusion. Okay, just like the letters O and K put together versus spelled out OKAY with a smiley face or something like that.
Right.
You can tell the difference between someone's mood based on which version they use, or if they're using Siri. Because when I use Siri to text, like if I'm on my CarPlay or whatever, she'll send the O and the K, and she won't spell it out. But it'll say sent with Siri, so like Colin will figure out, oh, she's in the car, she's not.
Yeah, that one's pretty easy.
Upset or whatever.
I'll say that one's pretty easy because it's like it'll say message with Siri.
Yeah.
I've seen that. So yeah.
But if he ever sees me send it like on my own, he's like, why are you upset?
Well, damn.
What's going on?
What did I do? No.
So, I don't know. I'm big like that. I like where it's spelled out, and he knows that, and I
have never actually put any thought into those two distinctions. Well, now I am. And now I'm going back to every conversation I've had previously.
I'm glad you're listening.
Where, not even just our conversations, just any conversations I've had, because I always say, okay. The okay. Not even the OKAY. So...
How dare you?
Hey. And that's another reason, too, is, like, I've gotten to the point where I don't really like texting all that much. Well, just because of, like, my therapist is guilty of this, too, because he made me not like it anymore, either. Because it doesn't proceed, or it does not, you cannot interpret tone or inflection through text. And I'm like, because I used to be a big texter, and I'm not anymore, but I also don't like talking on the phone all that much, either. So, communication for me. So, maybe... I don't know.
You prefer in person.
I 100% prefer in person, no matter what it is. I would much rather have a conversation with you face to face as opposed to over the phone or through text message. I'm so big on face to face contact. It's not even funny. Even FaceTiming would be a lot. So even if FaceTiming is better if you can't, because like you can actually see their face when they're talking, or they can see your face because I don't use like. I do, but I don't use emojis all that much or anything like that to communicate. So sometimes I know for a fact I could easily just come off in the wrong way, So yeah, now I'm gonna think that one. Now that one's gonna bother me for the next hour and a half.
You're welcome. And then the last one is just like for example, you retelling my story wrong because you only half listened or something like that.
Never happened.
Never
happened. I don't think I've ever retold the story that you told me wrong. I might have left some stuff out because I feel like I don't need to be saying because I don't need to be saying what you said or the way you said it. But I don't think I've ever retold the story wrong. And actually, you know what? I don't think I've ever retold the story that you told me. That's gonna rack my brain because I don't think I've ever actually retold something that you told me.
Well, I guess it's meant to be like just in general.
No, I know, just in general. But me being the overly critical human being that I am, I'm gonna go back and be like,
I don't think so.
Because
unless you count.
I think any story I've ever told that's between us, I've always told anytime we're in the same room.
Yeah.
I think the only one that I think I could have gotten wrong would have been the Notebook story. I think that's the only one I could get wrong, but I will die on that hill that I did not get that.
Collectively, we have very different experiences from
100%. Well, that's a given.
You have one version and I have one version, and we mesh them together to make one.
My version is more accurate. No, I'm just kidding.
Exactly my point.
Because I heard and felt everything, okay?
You read my innermost thoughts.
That's what I'm saying. I felt, heard, and saw everything.
I was the one more exposed in this.
But I didn't tell anybody.
The whole world knows now.
That you beat me with a notebook, yeah. They don't know what I read on that piece of paper.
Some people do. You have told this story before, and
but I've never told them what I read. I know that it was relatively something that I should not share. And I know that it's something that I was like, did not know she was capable of that, which is you can see my face. You see how red I am? That's, yes. I'm so sorry. But I don't think I have ever actually, I don't think I've ever actually indicated, or, no, not indicated because I have, actually told anybody of what I read on that paper. And I never will. Because one, I don't remember. And two, it did not bear repeating.
Can we pause for 2 seconds?
Sure.
Okay, that'll probably be a little blip to you guys, but
We took a small break.
Alright, now it's time to put our brains to the test. What were we talking about?
Oh, great. I know that beforehand we were talking about the notebook story.
Right.
Because a retelling, because I did not take that literally, because it says me retelling one of your stories wrong because I only half listened. I was like, well, first of all, I've never retold the story that she's told me. There's only one story that I've retold between us, which is, did you get another phone call?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. You looked at me like you were like, damn it, I have to reach out. But I was just talking about the notebook story, and I was like, you were like, we have two different understandings, and I was like, well, yeah, because it happened two different ways. And then I went on, and I was talking about what was in the journal that I read, which, again, I don't remember. Two, I will never. It does not bear repeating. So that seems to be. I think that was the last point. So we can continue with the next portion.
So I think.
And I'm so glad I haven't hit this thing since we started.
I know you're doing so good.
I know.
I think one of the takeaways from this section that we really want to put emphasis on is listening to fix instead of listening to feel. So, as in, like, I'm going to listen to you and understand what you have to say, and if there's anything I can input if you want me to, then I will, quote unquote, fix. Versus, what are you saying to me, and let me just make it all about me and my feelings.
Right. I don't think fix is I think fix is the wrong term because, well, no, it's not the wrong term, but I feel like fix would be
circumstantial.
I feel like fix puts a negative connotation on it.
Okay.
You know, because if you're listening to fix something, you're not listening, if that makes sense. Because I feel like you're listening to what they have to say, but you're not like understanding. You're like, okay, this is the problem. Like, they told you their problem right up front, and your brain immediately went to, all right, well, I've already got a fix for this.
Yeah.
So you just stop talking. It's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. I feel like if you're listening to fix something, you shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Because nobody needs fixing. Like, if you're listening to fix something, you've already failed, because nobody actually needs fixing. Nothing really needs fixing. There are TVs that need fixing. There are remotes that need fixing. There are electronics that need fixing. People don't need fixing.
I don't know. I feel like, yes, I agree. You as a person are perfectly fine, right? But I think sometimes your mind can be broken and need fixing.
That's a good point.
Like, not necessarily like you're going to tell me something and I have to immediately fix it.
Right.
But I think that if you're asking me for an opinion, or, hey, like, what do you think about this situation? How can I fix it? And you can offer those.
I see what you're saying. Okay, so like fixing something that you like. Okay.
I agree with you.
Right.
I think.
No, you are 100% correct. When it comes to people, there are things that need fixing, but I just feel like people in general don't need to be fixed because you can't really fix. That's just my belief, because I feel like if you're trying to fix somebody, you've already failed. You know what I'm saying?
People tend to be who they are.
Exactly. You need to allow them to be who they are, and then if they need wrangling in, quote unquote, then maybe tell them. But tell them in private. Don't tell them in public. That also bothers me too, but we can get to that some other time.
Not feeling heard can break trust faster than disagreements can.
Oh,
which, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a heavy one.
Yeah, because you could have a whole conversation and then all of a sudden, like, they do the exact same thing and you're like, you didn't even listen to a damn word that I just said. All you heard, I don't even know what you heard because you didn't do anything right. Or you didn't do any portion of what I asked you to do.
Right. It's the infamous, you're not listening to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what I'm saying.
So maybe after that happens, you just say, okay, you're not hearing me. Mm-hmm. You're listening, but you're not hearing me.
There you go. Sometimes we hear what we want to hear, not what's actually being said. And this is a quote from an unknown source, but it's super, super powerful. It's like, have you ever been scrolling on TikTok or whatever, and it'll pop up with one of those videos that's like, you hear what you're reading. So
I hate that so much.
It's like green needle or whatever. And so if you listen to it a million times, but whatever you're reading or actively thinking about is what you're hearing versus whatever the actual recording is.
Right.
Like, who knows what it actually says. But sometimes we want to hear what's in our brains versus what's actually being said.
Yeah. And then also, I feel like when you're having a conversation with somebody, you it's even worse when you hear something that you want to hear. Especially when you're getting to know somebody or in the dating realm, you're hearing what you're hearing what you want to hear because you want this to work out and you want this to be great and you want this to happen, but that's not any portion of what's happening, and you're just setting yourself up for a misunderstanding. So that's where I say being present in the moment is going to be key in this whole scenario, because you can create a false identity or a false relationship just by hearing what you want to hear, as opposed to, okay, hold on, I'm putting this on the carpet because that's getting annoying.
Sorry. Me too. It's like a whole thing. Anyway. I could see that. Like, if you're in a situation where you want your feelings to be heard, and you're not necessarily asking for a response or a fix, or
your statement is rhetorical.
Yeah. Then you could, and then you receive unsolicited advice.
Mm-hmm. Despise unsolicited advice more than anything in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, I did not ask you. I didn't ask you one bit about what you were trying to tell me.
Yeah.
But people like to offer that advice, and sometimes it's good. You're just like, I don't care. There's my neighbors.
So our think moment for this one is, you can't listen properly if your ego's louder than your voice. Listening is quiet work. That's huge.
We are all guilty of that. All guilty of that.
We do all have an ego, that's for sure. It's like, sometimes you have to step out of your own way.
Exactly. Yes. Ego is the hardest thing to take out of a conversation. Especially when you're listening and you're getting feedback, or feedback or constructive criticism.
Yes.
That is the hardest thing to do, is checking your ego, because people do not like being criticized.
No.
Or like being told that they did something wrong or anything like that. If you can't be criticized or you can't be told, immediate
defense.
Yeah, thank you. If you can't take feedback or any sort of like constructive criticism on anything that you do, you have no you have no business listening in the first place, because you're going to get valuable feedback when somebody gives you feedback or they criticize. Now, are they criticizing you in the correct way? That's for you to determine. Like, hey, I appreciate what you just said. However, I don't like the way you just said that to me. I need you to not talk to me like that. I appreciate you telling me that, but do not talk to me like that.
That's hard to do.
And I think that's where the ego comes into play too, because we can also take that negatively, good lord, in the wrong term, because you can easily
all the consonants.
Yeah. So.
I agree. And I think that you'll get into some situations where sometimes you have to swallow your pride in order to fully hear what someone is saying. Hey, do you feel good about this, or do you want...
Absolutely.
Okay. I have to figure out where I am. What did I just say? I was reading earlier, like while I was waiting on you, and sometimes I'll do this thing where I like read out loud so that I can like start practicing my mouth words before we get on here. And I think I was having a stroke, because every single word I said, I was confusing the first two letters. So I would say like ache. I don't know. I don't even know. I can't even do it now. But I was like, the first letter of each word I was swapping. So like,
I do that too.
Anyway.
I'm pretty guilty of that too.
Alright, our next section is called How to Listen Properly. We have a couple tips for you, and then we can kind of talk about it. But tips, I think this is where I will input my story, I was talking about earlier. Because, yeah. So, tips. Number 1, be fully present, no multitasking. So, like what I was just doing by trying to figure out my life here. Don't do that if you want to be fully present. And like you said earlier, if the more that you input yourself and have less distractions, the more that you'll hear what someone's trying to say to you, rather than thinking about, oh my god, I have to do this, oh my god, she did this, and you know what I mean.
Eliminate distractions.
Yeah. Don't interrupt, even if you think you know it's coming. So like when you tell me don't beat me to the good part.
Don't beat me to the funny part.
I have to actively think about that because my brain is working so fast and I want to be here and listen.
And you already know what's about to happen.
Right. Number 3, reflect and validate. So what you're saying is X, Y, and Z. I am currently taking a course for trade credit for the days that we have off in November. As teachers, we have to earn a certain amount of continued education to give us that time off. So like and it has to be outside of working hours. So I have to I go to a class on Tuesdays from 6 to 8 p.m. and it's the Love and Logic. Do you know what that is?
No clue.
So it's kind of a parenting technique, but a lot of the what's the word? Sentiments or ideas that you're learning it could also be used towards teaching and your classroom management and all that stuff. But anyway, regardless, a lot of what we learn there is that empathetic statements in a conversation will help somebody understand exactly what you're asking of them. So what you're saying is, or like if something's going wrong, like let's say you broke that lamp and I want you to know that I'm sorry, but that was your responsibility and you chose to do something reckless. I would say, oh dang, I'm really sorry that happened to you, but how do you plan on paying to fix that? So like you turn around the conversation and put the responsibility back in the kid's court or something like that. Okay. But I really think that is a reflect and validate the situation. Like, you know what, I'm really sorry that happened.
I want to make sure I understand you properly. Is this what you said?
Right.
Is this what you meant?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then number 4 is listen to tone, not just words. That's also another thing from Love and Logic. It actually says go brain dead, and when you respond, you need to keep everything calm and collected so they'll often give us examples of like the difference between saying, oh my god, I can't believe you did that, raising your voice, and like, you know, your facial expressions, and oh my god, I can't believe that happened to you, is very different.
That's a huge difference, yeah.
And number 5, don't listen to fix, listen to feel, as we've been talking. So, anything you want to add? I
mean, the reflect and validate is a big one because you want to make sure you heard the person properly. A lot of these times when you have to ask that question, it's often feedback that's being given to you. Not directly sometimes. It could be indirect feedback. So if you feel like if you're in your head going, I need to ask for clarification on this one. If you're saying that to yourself, right, or you're feeling that, then that probably means that you're getting some sort of feedback that you need to understand. Okay. Because that's going to serve you well in your future.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. The second thing I would like to add is try to pay attention to body language if you can. Because, like we were talking about, the face tells the story, but not always, right? So if somebody's angry and frustrated with you, their voice is going to tell one story, but their body's going to tell another, right? It could be the difference of them yelling at you, and then they're just having this moment of just not panic but just frustration, and you can see that. It's like, you're not really angry at me. You're more so frustrated, which is two different things. You see what I'm saying?
The anger versus disappointment.
Exactly.
It's almost worse to have someone be disappointed in you than angry.
Exactly. So they're like, them yelling at you could be misinterpreted as them no longer loving you or whatever. But then watch the body language. It's going to tell you what's happening, right? Mm-hmm. So learn about that if you can. Now, don't, like we were talking about, don't like maintain eye contact and just stare at them uncontrollably. But pick up on subtle clues, especially Especially when you're in an argument with your significant other. Try to pick up on some subtle clues that because they're going to tell you. Like, even if their words don't tell you, their body language is going to tell you everything you need to know. So what you're saying is this. Well, yeah, because I could pick up on I could pick up on the emotion you were telling me just by how you were sitting in that chair. Or just how you were flailing your arms. Or you were tapping your foot. Or tapping your feet. Or tapping your foot. Tapping your fingers. You know, you were twitching. I could feel it. You know, I used to have somebody who, when they were lying to me, I could tell because they were scrunching their nose. Every time they try to lie, they would scrunch their nose. I'm like, you're lying to me. I'm not. Yes, you are. Every time you lie to me, you scrunch your nose. I can see it. No, I don't. Whatever.
We all have our little tells.
We all have our tells. Exactly. Everybody has a tell. You just have to kind of pick up. It's not a bad thing, but try to pick up on that because that'll save you. That could possibly save your life too.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean it like literally. I mean it like, again, this is all relationship based. Not all, but like if you have been with somebody long enough, you should be able to pick up on those tells, you know? And so you should be looking for those tells too. And I feel like that would be a pretty good active listening key to pick up on as well, because you'll get a lot more out of that body language as opposed to no, never mind. I would just add, try to pick up on body language and just try to interpret that. Well, because I feel like I would defeat the purpose of actually listening, because
if you're paying too much
attention.
Okay.
Right? Like, because I'm really good at listening to somebody, but also watching them, like how their movements are taking place, you know, and stuff like that, right? So that's one of the things that I feel like I'm really good at, is just kind of picking people apart as far as like not picking somebody apart, but picking up on subtle clues as far as their body language. It's a gift and a curse because I do it quite often and I don't mean to. Yeah, I get in trouble for it all the time. I do it to perfect strangers and I feel so bad.
Yes, that's a huge part of the story I want to tell you. But I don't want to tell you until we get like through these. The quotes we want to share, I'll share the first one, you do the second one.
Sure.
So the biggest communication problem is we do not listen to understand, we listen to reply. Apparently that's an anonymous source that we have listed here. But like, we hear this a couple different ways. Like up there we had Mr. Covey say something similar to this. Like any version that you put that makes sense for your life, it's just the main important part is just actively listen instead of figuring out what you want to say back.
This is the quote from John Marshall of, "To listen well is as powerful a means of influence as to talk well." Yeah. I can't stress enough. So one of the things that I'm really good at is talking. I feel like that's one of my strengths. Like, I feel like if you put me in a room with anybody, I can talk and I can kind of sway them, if that makes sense. Well, maybe not sway them, but I can, you know, I'm pretty good at it. But the whole listening aspect, good Lord words. If you could put those two together, you're gonna be pretty good at just picking up and being. I feel like an overall good human being, because if you can listen well, that's gonna take you to the edge of the earth in everything that you do. So just because you can talk your way out of a situation, if that makes sense, or into a situation or whatever, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be that good. Listening is going to play a huge role, because what's going to happen is you're going to have to talk back. And if you don't interpret what they said correctly, then you're just going to just ramble the entire time. And it's just going to be just words. It's going to be like the the Peanuts cartoon, or that teacher from Jimmy Neutron. You're just gonna word vomit. Just do that. So listen, because you're going to have to talk back to them.
I haven't thought about either one of those things in a very long time.
Which one? The Peanuts cartoon or Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah.
I have no clue. I just thought of the most random things to, like, if you're trying to talk to somebody.
That's a good analogy.
Or when they're listening to you or whatever, you try to repeat back, and then as you're talking, they're not tuning you out, but they're hearing that because you didn't listen to a stinking word they said. And they're like, no, you didn't say, and you did not listen to anything that I said because I did not understand what you just told me.
Yeah.
So, yes, learn to listen.
Our think moment is listening isn't waiting for your turn to talk. It's making space for someone else's truth. Woof. That is insane. Good listeners make people feel seen. Okay, where my story comes in. The other day, Alright, I have shared before that there's a place I like to go to, and I'm just gonna leave it anonymous, but there's a spot where I like to sit and I read my book, and sometimes I play pool or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I generally put my headphones in, have my Kindle out, like I make myself not approachable. I want to do what I want to do when I'm there because I'm relaxing, chilling, whatever. And I don't talk to anyone, like I just want to be by myself, and I want to like have me time. So I will read my book, I'll put my headphones in, I'll listen to music, whatever. But sometimes people do not pick up on that social cue, or there's an aura around me that says, hi, pick me, I want to be bothered. So the other night I was doing just that, and there was this girl and her boyfriend who came in and just sat down next to me.
Absolutely not.
And I was,
Kick rocks.
I really honestly, I should have just like, this is me time, so I really should have respected myself enough to be like, hey, you know what, I really appreciate you trusting me or whatever, but I'm enjoying myself right now, so if you could, well, okay, maybe I won't word it that way, but you know what I'm trying to say, like, you know what I mean? So
what exactly were they doing? Where they trusted you?
Well, okay, so...
Okay, cool. Because you said, thank you for trusting me. I was like, hold on a second.
I don't know what it is about me. I really honestly don't. But I swear to you, I have a neon sign that just says, tell me your life story.
Oh,
here I
good
am.
God.
Like that guy, my experience when I went to Wisconsin in the airport with that guy who was sleeping on me and then just got up and asked me to watch his stuff while he ran and got a coffee. And then the other guy in the airport that was like, he just sat down next to me and was talking to me even though I had my AirPod in, and finally I pulled it out and he was telling me that the difference between wolves and dogs is that wolves can wear glasses. Do you remember this? Me telling you this story?
No, because I know for a fact I would remember if somebody tried to tell you the difference between wolves and dogs, because dogs can wear glasses or wolves can wear glasses?
Wolves can wear glasses. No. Dogs can wear glasses. Wolves' snouts don't let them.
I don't care enough. That would have been my response. I would have told him like you could not.
I think it was like
you can't pay me. I would have told him
Okay.
you couldn't pay me enough to give a shit about what that.
And then he tried to give me some like matcha tea that he brought from wherever he was from, and I was like, I don't like. You just pulled a bag of random weird looking stuff out, and he was like, do you want some?
No, I don't want anything.
Who are you? Anyway, so these things tend to happen to me, right?
I'm not shocked, and yes, it does.
So I'm sitting there, I'm reading my book, I have my headphones in, they sit down, I made eye contact, like I shouldn't, So I took my AirPod out and I was like, hi, and
Why did you engage?
Dylan, I don't know, okay?
I just wanted to know.
She ended up telling me, I'm not going to repeat it because I'll tell you after, but there was a lot that she told me that is just not meant for a first-time stranger, right? Like, if we were friends for as long as we were, I would expect you to tell me these things, but as someone that just sat down at my table and told me all of these things that were happening, I was like...
I tell you what, going anywhere with alcohol involved is a crapshoot.
They weren't drinking.
I'm just saying, like going anywhere where there's alcohol involved or where people go is a crapshoot these days.
Sure.
Because you have no idea
Right.
what people are gonna do or say. I'll tell you a story after this because I kind of kept this one to myself, but this one freaked me out a lot. No, go ahead, because you just brought something up in my head and I was like, oh god, go ahead.
Yeah, that's really kind of... I just like... So... They literally sat there for 3 hours talking to me. And, like, at some point I was like, you know what, I gotta go. And, like, the girl that was working, like, her and I are very, very good friends. And she kept passing by, you good, Marie? You good? And at some point I should have been like, you know what, can I just, like, move? Like, how do I get out of this situation, right? And she's like... So after they left, she goes, Marie, this is your goal for the month. You've got to say no. You've got to build your backbone. You have got to stand up for you and your time.
Make sure I understand. So were you in a spot to where like it was large enough for people to come into that section, or were you at a table by yourself?
I was at a table by myself.
Oh, kick rocks!
But there was room for them to sit.
So like
down,
it was like a sort of like
they literally just sat down.
So it's sort of like a living room.
I was the only one in there.
So it was kind of like a living room type situation.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
And
table, and there's a bunch of lounge chairs.
There were at least 15 other tables over here, and they came and sat down at mine.
Kick rocks.
And I was like, I don't feel like I look approachable.
And
I was beside myself.
So I could understand, right? So you're in this section, you're by yourself, your headphones are in. I could understand somebody, right? I could understand somebody coming and sitting down on the other side, right? And just, having a conversation with them, with the other person, right?
Sure.
And maybe, right? I could see that because it's like this section is open, right? But I could also see out of all the places, why? Why did you sit there? Or vice versa.
And it's like it's very clearly my table, right? And they just sat down.
No, go away. Get out.
I just don't know how to.
I despise that so much. And you know what's funny is I get aggravated when I go to eat and they sit me at a table, right? And it's kind of secluded or whatever, right? And it's by myself. I always get frustrated so quickly when they sit somebody either at the table next to me or somewhere else or anywhere in my vicinity. I'm like, you could have put them anywhere else. You could have sat them somewhere else or vice versa. I'm by myself. Now, that's not the same thing, but it's like I'm literally by myself. You put me in the most secluded spot and you found a way to put somebody next to me. What the hell? Yep. Oh.
The whole reason that I wanted to share this is because they ended up leaving, but when the girl went to the bathroom, the boy who's her boyfriend looked at me and he goes,
I can't stop her?
No, he goes, I don't know who you are, what you did, but I have never seen her so open with anybody in her entire life. And he said, thank you so much because we've been through it and I know that she needed to just release. And I was like, and then what do you do with that information? Because then at that point I can't necessarily. You give them the card to your therapist, and you tell them this. I charge $100 an hour.
You should have been like, for the first the first session is free.
Yeah.
Next time you want to talk to me, it's going to cost you $100.
Yeah.
Or give them a card to your therapist and be like, here, this person listens a lot better.
I guess for me as an empathetic person, I think maybe that's what it is. I do listen and I do wait my turn to speak for the most part. I don't always, but I'm not perfect. But I think that bottom part, listening isn't waiting for your turn to talk. It's making space for someone else's truth. I think that she really needed that in her life, which is great for her. I just wanted to read my book. But I think in the future, if something like that does happen, because I don't want to cut people off. If I was the reason that night for her to feel a little better, I did my job as a random stranger in the night, right? But not every random stranger is like that. She needs to be careful.
Yeah.
I need to be careful.
I kind of was about to say, I was like, what the hell? So I despise talking to people in public.
You don't say.
I don't want to have a conversation with somebody while I'm getting my food or I'm eating. Unless I'm with somebody, right? That's different. But if I'm by myself and you want to talk to me, don't. I have no interest in talking to people for long periods of time, if that makes sense, right? I apologize. I'm going to apologize to the nth degree. I don't really have any interest in talking to strangers while I'm out in public. Right?
I don't know how to say no, apparently.
So I don't know either, but sometimes I just I just listen by accident, and I don't know how to get out of it. I want to get away. I'm not, and I'll be honest, full disclosure, I'm not listening to a freaking word you're saying. If you talk to me if you approach me randomly, and I don't know you, or whatever, I'm not listening to a word you're saying, because I don't care. And I apologize so badly. It's not that I don't care. It's just a matter of I don't have any interest in anytime when I'm out in public and I'm by myself, that means that I have a case of the zoomies and I need to get stuff out of I need to get this energy out. So no, because I'm not gonna stand still. What's gonna end up happening is you're gonna talk to me and I'm just gonna wander off. I'm just gonna go.
Dylan.
I am awful. I've done that. I cannot tell you how many times I've done that. I feel bad, but I don't, because I'm like, I don't have any interest in listening to whatever problem you're telling me. I'm so sorry. If I know you, that's different. If I don't know you, sorry about your bad luck. I'm sorry. Because there have been multiple times where I've done the same thing and made eye contact with somebody and they just start word vomiting and I don't hear a word they're saying because I'm like, back of my head, I'm like, I don't care. The only thing that I'm doing at that point in time is I'm trying to find an exit strategy. I'm trying to find out, how do I get away from you? How do I get out of here? What can I tell you that will get you to shut up and leave me alone?
I suppose I need to take a page out of your book.
No, you don't.
But I...
Don't, because... no. You could.
I don't know. I just, like...
You don't want to be the bad guy. I know. It's okay. I don't mind being the bad guy.
I believe in... coincidence is the right word, but maybe right time or
right place, right time.
Right place, right time. And I feel like she really needed to just word vomit all over somebody without judge. Like, and it's so much easier to do it with somebody who you don't know, like a therapist, for example.
You just answered your own question. It's so much easier with a therapist.
I didn't be a therapist at all. And I barely even got a word in. Like, I was not sitting there giving her substantial advice or anything like that. I was just literally an ear and just to let her get it all out. And I would input, little sentiments here and there. But I wasn't doing anything outrageous or crazy or professional by any stretch of the imagination. But I do know that they are not a person that could afford therapy, so maybe I do know that for a fact.
Well, that's different, but even still.
When we get off of here and I tell you the full story, I think your jaw's gonna hit the floor.
I am terrified. I'm terrified and excited at the same time.
Is there a story you wanted to add, or did you want?
I will tell you what. I'll tell you off of here, and then you can tell me if it's okay for me to tell this story.
Okay. Like, you want me to pause it?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, are you going to jump in? Okay, we're going to play a game. And in true Marie fashion, I'm forcing you to play the game, and I have the answers. So, this is called the miscommunication game.
I've played this game before.
Have you?
No. There's a game. There is a comedy. Not group, but there's a comedy channel called Dropout TV, and they play a game called Game Changer, or Let's Make Some Noise, and they will give random subjects to these people, and they'll have to interpret these or make the noises associated with it. Oh. But the guy the guy who's running it knows all the answers already, and he was like, I've been here he goes, I've been doing this the whole time. Sorry. Anybody who's a fan of Dropout and those will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just so funny.
I'm just realizing I didn't take the answer out of number 1.
Well, I didn't even read it, so if you want to take it out right quick.
You didn't?
Because I know you'll get. I know the
I don't think they're super hard.
I would say I know the enjoyment is watching me sometimes struggle with these things. So hey, here we are.
Of course. At least you know.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm going to describe something super specific without saying what it is. You are going to guess what I'm describing, but can only ask yes or no questions. So if you need clarification, you must wait for a full answer before asking another. Does that make sense? Like, I have to answer the question you ask me before you ask another one.
Got it. Okay.
And then we'll go back and forth if you need to. If you don't need to. They're not hard, but are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. So number 1, you plug it in, people get mad when you don't use it right, and somehow it's always tangled.
A phone charger?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
There's no way. Wait, hold on. People don't get, like, when you don't use it right? Is there different ways to use a phone charger?
People get mad when you don't use it right. So, like, if it's not plugged in the right way, or Like the way that you charge, I don't know. Okay, I'm guessing.
Okay, all right. I was just confused. I'm like, is there more than one way to use a phone charger? Like,
yeah, I mean, I imagine what this is saying right here is like when you can't find the freaking plug. Or
when the demon underneath your bed is hitting your hand away from the plug while you're trying to plug it in.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense.
Or if you use the wrong voltage to charge your, like, because sometimes I'll use my big charger to charge my AirPods and it won't always work because it's too much power going into it or whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Oh, now who's hitting the microphone?
I know, sorry. You ready for number 2?
Yes.
You keep buying new ones because you swear the old ones disappeared into other dimension. Yes.
Sorry. Now, as soon as you say you keep buying new ones, I was like, the only thing that I have to buy is new ones is socks.
Yeah, socks.
Or lids.
Yeah, absolutely. Socks and lids. Okay, number 3. Everyone loves to sit around and judge them once a year like it's a national sport. This is a little more difficult.
Oh, is it a politician?
No. But that's funny.
Well, like it's a national sport.
Everyone loves to sit around and judge them once a year like it's a national sport.
Once a year.
Usually in February.
Oh, Super Bowl?
Specifically. What do people get most excited about?
Oh, the halftime show.
Nope.
Okay, then you could... What?
The commercials.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Hey, the halftime show takes a lot of grief too sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what was funny though? I was going to say the Chiefs because everybody likes to judge them like it's a national sport too.
Not Taylor Swift's boyfriend.
I don't care.
Okay, number 4. It holds... let me start over. That was a weird way. I'm sorry. It holds everything together until it doesn't, and then you question your life choices.
My sanity.
No.
No?
It's an inanimate object.
I know. A hair tie?
No, but that's a good one.
Holds everything together.
You can ask clarifying questions.
Well, honestly, I'm trying to figure out what a clarifying question to ask. Like, do I actually wear it? No. Okay. It's an inanimate object. So the problem is I don't know what questions to ask.
Okay.
Because I'm like,
oops. Oh my gosh.
because I question my life choices around a lot of things that don't work.
Okay, so usually you will use this thing as a just slap some blank on it.
Well.
So like this specific brand. Okay.
Peanut butter?
No.
I'm sorry. I'm just going back to you slapping stuff on blank, slapping blank on this. Wow.
People. Okay. All right. Hang on. Don't focus too much on that.
It's really hard not to.
You usually use this product as a last-ditch effort to hold everything together, and people will say, just slap some blank on
duct tape.
There you go.
Okay, sorry.
So proud of you.
I'm so glad I can pick up on your cues sometimes, because I feel like somebody else would have sat here and been like, what is she slapping on? What is she slapping duct tape on? And why are you slapping the duct tape on there?
You know, I'm very lucky you understand me. We'll see if they do. Okay, number 5. People post them online, and somehow it always starts a fight.
Political opinion?
Well...
Anything politic related, I guess?
Not necessarily politics, but opinions, hot takes.
Opinions and just opinions and garlic?
Garlic.
Opinions in general. Holy smokes.
Dip your opinions in garlic, folks.
Hey, it'll keep the fun suckers away. That's a good one.
Oh my god.
That's a good one, because they're energy vampires. Hey. My favorite saying is, I'm just trying to stay sucker free in a bowl full of lollipops.
Okay, last one, number 6. It's tiny, loud, and for some reason...
My phone.
You always forget where you put it. No.
Sorry. Not your phone? My keys? Yeah, I know. That's the only thing I can think of when it's loud. But my phone's on silent, so... I mean, that technically wouldn't... I'm trying to think of all the stuff that I lose, and it's my keys, my wallet, my phone.
I don't know where loud comes from.
The face you're making was very interesting.
I was trying to put 2 and 2 together. I think...
Always forget where you put it. And it's loud for some reason. And it's loud.
I don't think it's loud. I think that's a lie. I think that was just a mistype. It's tiny, and for some reason, you always forget where you put it. But it's also not always tiny. Alright, hang on.
I don't know why my first thought went to a hair tie.
These are all good answers, but it's not what I'm trying to get you to guess. Okay, I guess it can be loud if it makes noise, but not all of them make noise. Not all of them click.
A remote.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could see. Yeah. Okay. Now that I think of the answer, it does. But they don't click. Some of them don't click. And why is it loud? Wait.
I don't know.
Like it can cause things to be loud. It can cause a loud argument.
Right. All the trust goes out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
The TV remote's missing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bless you. I'm like, where's the mouse?
We need to get like a producer to control this stuff sometimes.
Okay, so these are fine. So let's just go here. Our last segment is kind of our self-check-in and takeaway. Mm-hmm. So, reflection questions. Here we go. When's the last time someone said, "You're not listening," and they were right to you?
Yeah, I'm trying to...
I just had to clarify because I had to clarify for my own brain.
Okay. I listened to that part. Oh, man. Honestly, I can't...
Okay, do you have a time that you remember that you didn't quite listen?
You know, honestly... There have been times where people have called timeouts on me when I was playing, and I didn't hear a word they said.
Specifically, he's talking about...
Pool, sorry. There have been times where I've had people call timeouts on me during my game, and I have not listened to a word they've said.
Okay.
And they were like, "You didn't listen to a word I said," and I was like, and I'd be like, honestly, I didn't, and I'm sorry, because you started telling me to do something that I did not want to do. So I just went with my own original idea.
Okay.
And that's bad. But at the same time, I just, like, there'll be times where I'm in a match, and then all of a sudden, I'll just get a random timeout, and I'm just like, why did you do that? And I won't say anything, because I'm too nice of a person, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to listen to a word you're saying, because whatever you're telling me is not what I want to do, and it's not what I had planned. So you just derailed my plan, now I have to get myself back in line. That's not happened all that often, but there have been times where I'm like, I don't care, I don't have any, no. Whatever you just said to me just went in one ear and out the other. We could talk about it afterwards, but no. And then they were like, "You didn't listen to a word I said." Nope. I apologize, but I did not. So, yeah. And they were right. Absolutely, I did not. And I wasn't sorry that I didn't. I can't think of any other, like, times where, like, I haven't actually listened to somebody. I know when I was a kid, there were plenty of times where I didn't listen. Right. Because my mom would tell me something, and it would just go in one ear and out the other. And she's like, "You're not listening to me." Which was always got me in more trouble.
Same. I was very bad.
Never wanted to listen to my parents. Well, no, I did. But are you trying to figure something out? Oh, okay. What about you? I know there's a time where you...
I kind of was trying to think of that myself, which I don't know. I feel like I say it more often now than I hear it because of my line of work. I'm saying it all the time.
Uh-huh.
But I
can't specifically think of when somebody...
Yeah, I think maybe there was some kind of argument that I was having because, marriage isn't always rainbows and sunshine.
I was actually, honestly, just full disclosure, I was actually gonna be like, can we go back to go back to your just being married in general? Because I know there has to be a time when they're like, you didn't listen to a word I said.
No, yeah,
but I feel like that happens all the time, honestly. Not with you, but just in marriage in general.
Yeah.
Like, anytime you're doing something together, right? And I apologize if I'm stepping on your story, but no. I can only imagine being in a relationship with somebody and telling them what to do, and then them not doing any part of it. And you're like, did you even listen to what I said? And then immediately they're just like, no, I didn't, because of X, Y, and Z, right?
Full conversations and vice versa. He'll have full conversations with me and I'll be like on my phone or like trying to figure something else out, and then I'll look at him and be like, what?
Yep.
Yep. What'd you say? And he'll be like, oh my God, But of course there's times we're human, it happens, but okay, so the next one. I'm getting to the point where my brain is like not catching up with what I want to happen. Do you listen to understand or to defend yourself?
It depends on the situation. There's very little times where I listen to defend myself, because I used to do that a lot, especially in other relationships that I've been in. I say other relationships, like I'm in one now, whatever. But there have been times in relationships where I was like just listening to defend what I was going to, and just defend the argument that we were having. I don't do so anymore. One, because I'm not in a relationship, and two, your anger and your frustration is your truth, and I can't tell you what your truth is, right? So I should not defend myself in that regard. Now, if you accuse me of something, that's different,
right?
But a part of me feels like I do a pretty good job of listening to understand, and wow, That was an epic facepalm. What just happened?
I'm so sorry. For some reason, I just realized that we did not register my car.
It'll be fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
It's working on.
Oh, I know. We can get through this.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can do this.
I'm sorry. Continue. I'm doing a bad job at listening.
From a personal standpoint, I feel like I do a really good job of listening to understand.
I do agree with that. I think even
the
when I
fixer in
first
me.
got here, like, when I was telling you that story and I was like, okay, I need like completely. You did a very good job.
But the fixer in me is always present, and I don't think I'll ever get rid of that. But a part of me is just like, I just want to understand what you're saying, and I think most people, when you're talking to them, they just want somebody to understand. So I practice doing more of an understanding thing as opposed to fixing or responding. Mm-hmm. Defending, not so much, because there's very little times that I want to defend myself, because one, I don't care enough to defend myself, and two, if you're accusing me of something, that's different. But that doesn't happen because I don't talk to people.
For me on this one, I immediately also went back to my line of work. I oftentimes, like, if something happens in my classroom, right, and I have to get both sides of the story, when I ask, okay, well, what happened? I will immediately get that, blah, blah, like, he did, blah, blah. And I'm like, I have to tell them, take a step back. I'm not asking for your defense. I want to know what happened. Like, I don't necessarily, I'll decide who is at fault or who is at blame. I just need to know your version of what happened so that we can come to the conclusion together and talk it out. And it takes a lot to, like, step back and ask kids to do that, you know? And I really try to be a sounding board. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I never will be. And there are definitely probably some kids that are out there that are like, oh my god, Mrs. White, you know? But I want them to know that I'm listening. I'm hearing what they're saying. I'm not just the teacher that's immediately like,
I'm not the bad guy in this situation.
I'm going to write an office referral or whatever, because there are teachers at our school.
I'm going to call your parents.
Yeah, I think that they deserve a chance to tell their version of events so that we can piece together either A, what actually happened, or B, how can we fix this to move forward? Or, like, anyway, sorry. But they immediately go on the defense, and I'm like, we need to get the full story. Not, I don't care what actually happened.
Right. Why did this happen? Yeah. Not what happened, why did this happen? Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's always the biggest tell, too, because it's like, how did we get to this point, right?
Okay, last one. Who in your life deserves better listening from you?
Well, I mean, I feel like that's a rhetorical question because everybody deserves better. I mean, I don't think there's one specific person. I think everybody deserves better listening from me, just in general, right?
I agree with that.
Just because, like, I've been told a lot, and I get told a lot that I'm a pretty good sounding board when it comes to, like, lots of situations. But just in general, I think everybody deserves better as far as listening, right? But also, I need everybody to understand my disclaimer of, you need to tell me everything and not lie to me, or tell me or alleviate details, right? Because if you want me to listen, right? Well, actually, no, that defeats the purpose. But because, it depends on what you want from me. If you want help or a fix or what, then you have to tell me everything. Because if you don't tell me everything and I find out something differently and that you lied to me, that's completely different, right? And then I won't help you, right?
Our advice can only be as good as what we know.
Exactly. Right, but again, I don't want to tell somebody or help somebody and then come to find out it was completely different than what they told me. It's kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. You've seen that Will Smith movie, Hitch? No, not Hitch. Is it Hitch?
The dating one.
The dating one. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
The guy, I don't know. He was working with this guy, and all this guy wanted to do was sleep with this other girl. He didn't care about anything, didn't want to date her, nothing. All he cared about was getting in her pants, and he refused to work with him because he's like, that's not what I do. And then come to find out that guy told that girl who helped him, or vice versa. And then that's when the person that he had a love interest in was her best friend. And then that's when they got in trouble and got upset. And he was like, no, that's not, I didn't work with that guy. I didn't tell him anything.
Yeah.
But you just accused me of this without even asking. So that's where that's where it comes into play for me. It's like, you better tell me everything if you want my help. Because if I find out something different or I find out a different version of this, then I'm going to be upset because I'm going to tell you what you need to do, but it's not going to help, or vice versa, right? So everybody deserves a better listening from me, regardless of the situation.
This think moment that we have. Listening properly is a love language. Also, keep in mind that you can't fake being present.
That is true. That is very true. I have learned that a lot. That even though when I was growing up, like there were, like we were talking about, moments in time that can't get brought back, right? Or you can't bring back, or you can't replay. Even that I still struggled with because I still, didn't listen fully or anything like that. As I've gotten older and progressed through different things, it's become more of a habit of actually making it a part of a love language, because everybody deserves to be heard. So just listening in general is going to help out so much.
I can't, I've been in many situations where I've been to have a conversation with somebody and they are faking their presence, and it just makes you feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my gosh, what I'm saying isn't important enough for you to turn off your distractions and listen,
right,
or whatever.
I am guilty of that. I will be completely honest. I am guilty of that distraction thing. Like earlier when we were, before we got started, you're like, I need you to keep an unbiased opinion. I need you to listen. I was continuously like trying to get everything set up. But sometimes, a lot of times, I do my best listening when I'm doing that.
Sure.
Because it keeps me from like sitting here or possibly getting distracted by something. If I know, my thing is also if I'm already distracted, right? It's like, but if I'm sitting here trying to listen and I'm already distracted, I'm just going to continue to keep myself distracted while I'm listening, because it's just too difficult for me to just try to sit still or whatever, right? So I am pretty bad about the distraction thing when I'm listening, but sometimes I just can't help it. And then honestly, I do my best listening when I'm distracted like that or doing menial tasks, because it also turns my brain off. So it'll keep me engaged. It doesn't always work but I'm also pretty good at asking clarifying questions. Be like, wait, hold on. Let me make sure I understood you correctly. Or it's, hang on, backtrack a second. And then it's like, okay, hold on. Now let me just pause or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So we were talking about eliminating distractions, and I'm like, man, I'm really bad about eliminating distractions. But if I'm already distracted, your best bet is to just let me continue to be distracted and then just keep talking. Because I'll eventually be like, oh, hold on, backtrack. You said this, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, keep going. And then I'll just keep, roaming around and being distracted, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay, is there anything else you want to add? Okay, so if you've made it to the end, congratulations. You officially listened properly.
Gold star for you.
This week, pick one person to really listen to. No phones, no interruptions, just be present.
I will take that challenge a bit further, and I will say, don't just listen, right? I would try to, of course, listen, but I would try to, if it's a friend or whatever, right? If it's someone you're really close to, if you don't know any of their tells, try to find their tells, because that's going to make you understand a whole lot more. And plus it's just fun for me. I hate to say it, it's just fun for me to pick out people's tells, and not in a bad way either. But because my problem is I like to understand people to the nth degree, and so when I'm listening to them and I can see in their face and all this other stuff in their body language, it just makes it so much better for me. It's I don't know if sometimes I feel like it's a good thing, sometimes I feel like it's a bad thing, but it's just sometimes I just cannot help it. But picking up on their tells will give you so much more, because then if you're listening and they say something and you're like, do you understand? You're like, I understand, but you said this, didn't really mean it, because when you shift in your chair this way, you normally are telling me a lie, or you're kind of like keeping something away from me, or vice versa, right? And the more you pick up on that, and the more you understand that, but it's not always a bad thing, right? Because it could always be like a good thing, where it's like, you're shifting in your chair to the left. You have something nice to tell me. Why don't you just tell me? Well, I would encourage you to try to pick up on those type of tells. If your goal is just to listen to a stranger, just listen, right? Don't add any advice. just listen. But if your goal is to listen to your significant other or someone that you care about, you're married to in a relationship, you've got a really long friendship, and you kind of want to not, you kind of want to like check the strength, of it. That makes sense. Try to do that, and then you'll pick up on so many different things. And then again, for me, it's just so much fun. But then again, that's the Sherlock Holmes nut in me. That's just like, I just want to pick people apart from just the way they sit in a chair.
Yeah.
So I would add that if you can, and then you'll be like, oh wow, this is a lot more fun than I thought it was, and I've created a monster. So.
Well, the last little bit that we'll leave you with is everyone wants to be understood, but not everyone wants to listen first. So we all have a craving to be understood, but we've got to also listen if we want to be listened to in return.
You crave to be understood, but you need a hunger to listen. I'll say that, and then I'll make it 10 times better.
So, all right, we will catch you guys in the next one.
Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.